Hi, this is Kathy Vick, Deeply Awake, and I just want to capture this time. It's a big time, and I've had some time to talk with a friend of mine who knows things like I do, and I've been able to get some clarity and some peace. I will tell you that energetically, for about 2 or 3 days prior to the event that we are aware happened on Sunday night, I was already feeling it. And there were very primal thoughts that were going on in my brain, and I didn't understand any of it. The things reducing to such life and death terms, that doesn't make any sense. Many things that I was aware of, and flashes of memory, and I would never have remembered certain things, but I've just been squeezed a certain way. And it was very energetically challenging. We all went through certain challenges. Sunday and yesterday. And mine were energetic. And I think at this point, this darkness that I've dealt with my whole life, that made its acquaintance yet again when I was 13 at a village inn of all places, and then dogged me until 2012. This energy that I have known walks with me and doesn't want me dead, wants me incapacitated. Well, I've been able to not only admit that it's there, but I've had a couple of very, very important witnesses who verified it and were not able to pin it on my character flaws. And that was important. That was quite healing. It helped me a lot. And so I come to you feeling better than I have in quite a while, because I felt very bad about feeling so bad. And I felt scared that I was never going to feel good most of the time, because I would always wind up feeling bad. Well, that's kind of true. But I understand now. I really like my dances with the dark. You want to know why? Because I'm really super good at it. Not of getting incapacitated, but the dark doesn't know how to just dance. It has to arm wrestle, and then it has to do body slams, and then it has to put its little jackboot on my neck as I lay there. And once again, it hollers as, I don't know, spit drips out of its mouth. Say it, say it. And I have to say, yeah, you won. That's what it was like. The biggest thing that came prior to Sunday was this weird, icky feeling I haven't felt in a long time. And I know every single light worker knows this feeling. That of being confronted Every single human on earth knows this feeling. Being confronted with something, a situation, a person, who you thought you could trust, who turns out to actually be the one who is instrumental in your undoing. And they're doing it for no other reason than it feels good to them to do it. It feels good to inflict pain. It feels good to let those wild horses roam. And they don't know how to stop. I fully admit I had that within and without. At first I was just a shit magnet, and I'm not going to name them. I was a magnet for energy that I know very well, and know because I'm observant that it has no love in its heart. It's not capable. All it knows is domination and submission. That's all it knows. All it really wants is that hit. And it was only this morning I realized I had fed that monster for the last time last night. I realized as I was having sort of a final push that this is exactly what the dark likes, is the neurochemical hit that comes from the despair of someone who should know better. I got him again. Yeah. But I know now that that whole grid is not animated like it used to be. And it's just humans having a lark with it now. They're very powerful, these humans, but there's no unifying force behind it all. It's supposed to make you think that it's completely organized. Are you kidding me? It doesn't know how to organize. Well, it knows how to do the same thing again and again. It's like a virus. The dark is like a virus. It only knows how to replicate itself. It can hijack a cell and make that cell a factory of that genetic material, but it's the same genetic material. It can't improvise. That makes it easily identifiable. And by virtue of its chosen purpose, easily isolatable. So, I guess I just realized that I had a dance in the dark, and that's the reason. If I can lose my hope, if I can lose my way, that's delicacy. And I'm much more aware now of how I was kind of a steady supplier. Being as convinced as I was of its power in my weakness. It's not in charge anymore. And it's within this growing unified field of consciousness, sometimes requiring an ambassador from that field and sometimes being able to do it spontaneously. that the dark is broken. It's the Super Bowl. So if you find yourself for a couple of days or longer being buffeted by things you don't understand, it's okay. I cried so much yesterday that I had an appointment at 4. You'd think I would be done with the waterworks by then. I wasn't. I limped into the office at 3:45. I couldn't stop crying, so I couldn't even explain that I had to reschedule because I couldn't stop crying. I just rescheduled. Couldn't stop all day long. And that's okay. And you're welcome. So I myself, I want to just mention before I leave that I'm blessed with great souls, and who are around me and who touch me at the right time. And Melissa was there today, and it was the perfect time and the perfect place, and we gave each other gifts. I don't know if she knows just how on time and cherished my gifts are. I had to normalize and accept and forgive the darkness inside of me. And now my job is to normalize peace. 12:12. To normalize peace. I have 5 years worth of work that in kind of a heart-stopping way shows you where these dances with darkness have led, and how meaningless these constructs are in the end. How the good always wins, and how light always conquers dark. Only glimpsing the beauty of what I've created, but certain now that it's impregnated with it, and it's only a matter of time. So I am peaceful. I am unworried. I am free. I tried coming to you the last few days and I couldn't. The videos were, it wasn't time. And I'm always so pleased when I hold my tongue. It helps me realize that when I do let loose, that maybe it's on purpose. Maybe it's not harmful. Maybe even though the other person or me or both of us go, ow, maybe that was purposeful too. And maybe it wasn't my preference, it was yours. You ever think of that? So I want to tell you thank you for listening and caring and understanding for those who do, and holding witness for those who have. for those who believe that they were watching something truly extraordinarily unique and healing unfold. Thank you. You have been. It's a curious place to be. And I'm very glad to be here. I have a task to do, and I have water to drink, and then I have other tasks to do. And although they're not the kind of stuff that I would opt to do, having the obligations no longer triggers me like it used to. Is it appropriate to say that if I've only just noticed the change? Aren't I supposed to road test this before I tell you that take it to the bank? Oh, a change has happened. Sometimes that's the case. And sometimes it's just easier to drop the need to continue the old way. Sometimes there's a goodbye process that happens, but not with this. There were a number of physical hits as a part of all of this, a lot of physical changes that came with all of this, and yesterday in the afternoon and all day today, I'm aware that my physical body is, there's I don't know, it's a viral load. I don't know if it's an intention to have a fever. I don't know if it's the intention to be sick in a bed. I'm going to take some echinacea and let my body know that I'd prefer to feel these feelings and smell the snot in my nose and sense the things I'm sensing, but I acknowledge that there's a process going on, and I give my body permission to heal it. And if I need a fever or if I need other symptoms, that's fine. But message received. I have made a leap. That's why I'm here. There's much that I have come to understand the last few days that is going to take some time to flesh out. Core concepts that, like strains of music right now, and they need to feed into tributaries, and once it's a river, then I'll get a feel for current and direction and landmass, and I'll know what's up. But for now, it's just this, and it's this that I come to you with. I'm aware that these energetic changes are happening to everyone, whether they have the language for it or not. But if they don't have the language for it, they don't have the awareness of it, it will be a different experience for them than for me. And I used to really feel bad about that. I had a value of shared experience above all. And now I'm beginning to realize that that's an energetic truth and stance. An energetic one. I tussled horribly lately with this feeling of being alone. And it's such a betrayal, and it feels so horrible, and it's like I look at my life and I'm just floored. How did this happen? And it's not possible to look at it any other way but as a punishment. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like prison. And that's a reality. That emotional reality is the aroma coming off of thoughts, thought groups, thought forms that are ejecta from belief structures. And there's a fault line. There's been an earthquake, and structures have ruptured. So, before and after. I can't give you the moment. Whether it was in repose before a very important conversation I had last evening, whether it was that conversation, whether it was the thinking I did on that conversation later, or whether it was the conclusions I wrote in my notebook about this whole experience. I can't give you the moment. But I can tell you that I know I am in the middle of a new structure. I'm not in the same structure I was. I'm just not. I'll close with what was channeled to me and Melissa. That they said that our foundations, I saw these square holes in the ground, and it's not like consider that it's not like houses that are next door to one another, but they are ideas of houses, okay? So they are like free floating. Anyway, each of these houses is seen for the foundation that it sits on first. And the foundation is made of bricks, and they said these bricks are made of the same substance, the two of us. And I mean, they're made of the same material, and yet each of us are creating our bricks with our own hands in our holes while we're making our foundation. And it's the house that's on top that is what's been at play here. And the house that I had from the February 23, 1961 lifetime, that was a haunted house. That was a murder house. That was a house of horror. It's where all manner of inappropriate things happened. It was cold and empty and all that. Haunted. haunted. And I'd seen this of, there was like this structure and it went boop, boop, boop. And they kept talking about the foundation and I couldn't understand. How could you... I don't understand. I understand better now. And, what she constructed was very different than mine. We were talking about how most people like her, they won't have anything to do with me. But she does. She can contain all of that darkness and more. And just goes like this. Ain't nothing but a thing. Want some tea? It's uncanny. And we're made of the same stuff. Now is the time for discovering that it's the definitions to the structure that are at play. There's no such thing as an evil house. There's a structure in which evil things occur. It's built on a foundation that is unshakable, ancient, blessed. I guess maybe I feared this because what else makes sense but demolition and rebuilding? It's not it at all. Did you ever see that movie with the haunted house that is actually a human being? A fat woman who was taunted her whole life and was a circus freak, loved by a very skinny man. And she was so awful, so hurt, that all she could do was lash out and attack children who were taunting her, whether she be a human body or a home. It was the same. That movie is very, very lyrical. There was a very dark night in that movie, the climax, where it's realized that her heart all along was protected by that house. She'd been loved all along so well. There was a release, and the house didn't get destroyed. It had some wear and tear, but there was a morning after. There were people on the lawn where once that was forbidden. And there was safety where once there'd only been fear. I've prayed for release from this darkness. I'm proud that I was able to wrestle with it as long as I did. I understand now that this darkness is, well, it didn't just dog me this lifetime, and I think that's what was so worrisome about feeling it again. Oh, this is how I used to feel. Oh. It's the moment where the group turns on you and you realize it's going to get pretty bad. It's that moment. I realized this morning, that's why we took vows like that. I knew that darkness was always here. I am its master. It is not in charge. I take vows of whatever it was at the time: poverty, chastity, self-flagellation. I know this energy. I set the rules. And it may bend me up and it may twist me, but I acknowledge. I set the tone. And it's this that I think we don't need anymore. It's this that was really in my face the last couple days. I had forgotten. And if I think for a minute of what I'd have to survive if I look at my life in, 1972? All the changes, all the loss, la 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 la. It's dizzying. Let's take it one day at a time. And let's let the light shine in. It's my obligation to come to you once I figured things out and crested a wave. This was a really, really potent one. And I'm wishing everyone love, peace, harmony, within and without. If you get in a bad way, I'm here. The solstice, this year's solstice, it's on its way. And it may be the longest 2 months you might live through, but 72 to 2017 was a long haul. This ain't nothing but a thing. It's just a little past. Namaste.